Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.
17 from Heathers the Musical. Beautiful. Wonderful. Isn't that beautiful, that? It's a brand new one on me, this, but Heathers the Musical is based on the 1988 cult hit that starred Winona Ryder and Christian Slater back in the day. It has now been turned into a musical and is packing them in. It is a UK tour and playing in the West End simultaneously. And I am so pleased to say that I am joined by actor Jacob Fowler, who is playing the part of JD on the UK tour. We'll be coming to Mould Theatre Clwyd on the 28th of March. Jacob, thanks ever so much for joining us, my friend, on the Stage and Screen show. It's great to have you on. I can appreciate life on the road is quite a hectic place to be, but does it suit you well?
It does actually, yeah. I mean, I'm still quite young, so in the grand scheme of things, I don't mind upping and moving every week and stuff like that. I love it because it's nice to explore the country as you work. You know, not many people get to do that, I guess, in such a way. So in that respect, yeah, I'm absolutely loving it, and it's just nice. You know, the schedule treats as well in terms of, because we tour, we have 2 days off at the weekend, which is unusual. Usually, you have 1 day off in musical theatre, so that's nice. But it means we have to cram more shows into 5 days, but you know, we love it.
But you're on the road, as I say, with Heathers the Musical, and this show, as far as I can see, it's played quite a huge role in your professional journey so far. It was almost like you were destined to play it in a way.
Yeah, it was. You know, it came about in such a last minute way the first time I was in the show, and I'd always wanted to. I saw the very first gala night on the West End, and I didn't know anything about the show, and after that I thought I'd love to do that role, but I thought I couldn't. I thought it was too high for me because I've not got the highest voice in the world. And then, yeah, the way it came about the first time at the other palace was so quick, and it just, the turnaround was massive, and I was understudy JD, which is the part I play now. And then, you know, things happened and I ended up taking over the role, then stepped out of the show for about 9 months and did some other things. And then, yeah, the offer came through for the tour. So I'm so lucky to be playing the role now.
Fantastic. I mean, it literally, it was written in the stars, as they say.
Yeah, I feel like it was. I feel like it was always maybe destined to end up like this. So I'm very fortunate, yeah.
But I read yesterday that you were training at the Trinity Laban in London, and you had to sort of sidestep that to audition for the Little Mix, the Search Talent TV show. And in hindsight, that was a fantastic move. But at the time, you must have had your reservations, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I went into the Little Mix show just not a care, and that sounds bad in retrospect. But at the time, I just thought, look, it came to me. You know, as it did to thousands of people across the country, I wasn't special. And then I just auditioned for it, and the auditions kept coming through, and the recalls, and, you know, you do so many auditions before you actually go on TV. And everyone, I just thought, you know, if I go further, cool, but if not, I'm not fussed. I'm in the middle of training, I've got other things to do. But then it did keep going, and all the way to the very, very end. So I was very fortunate. But I never had reservations because I always knew at any moment I would jump out of it, and I didn't care. I was so lucky to be training in London. That was kind of my dream. That was just a side thing. So either one would have been perfect. And in the end, it actually worked out that the Little Mix one worked better.
And did that show take place during lockdown?
No, so we filmed in February 2020, so right before COVID, and then we shut for about 6 months, but we always knew that it was hopefully going to come back. And then in September, we started filming again. That was like the live shows. So I think that was like the Eat Out to Help Out September. So things would open by then. And but there were still so many things in place. Like we couldn't go anywhere near the girls or the bands. You know, we were very much in a bubble still. But yeah, it was kind of in between COVID.
And I don't think it's a spoiler now to say that you won, and formed a band called Since September, and you toured with, you supported the Little Mix on the Confetti Tour. That must have been quite an incredible thing to go from what was essentially a jobbing actor, to go from that to walking out at the O2 where everybody knows you. It must have been very strange.
It was absolutely incredible. I mean, I just finished Heathers, which was kind of my dream. I've always not preferred, but, musical theatre's always been my thing. So I had to leave Heathers to do the tour, which obviously I was fine about doing because I was going on tour with Little Mix. But it felt a tiny bit bittersweet because I loved Heathers so much, which is why it's nice that I managed to come back. But you can't be walking out into the biggest arenas. And I think the AO Arena in Manchester is the biggest arena in Europe or something like that. So no matter what happens from here, I can say that I've played that to my kids one day, and I can die knowing that I played the biggest. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a bigger one built by the time I die, but you know what I mean. I can say that now, and it's almost that's the best thing about it is the memories and the fact I can say like I did that. Like it's incredible.
But Heathers the musical, we better talk about that, of course. It's one of those musicals that has almost got like a cult following, almost quite quickly. Tell us about it. If people haven't seen it yet, give us a quick synopsis.
So the basic premise, without any spoilers, is there's three girls all called Heather, and they're kind of like the mean girls of the school. And then there's a girl called Veronica who's lovely at heart, but she gets wrapped up in the whole Heathers world and, turns a little bit, through her Heathers and through the character I play, JD, she starts to make bad decisions. It's about how she deals with those decisions and how other people deal with her dealing with those decisions. And it's kind of, it's not as sweet or as chick flicky as people might think. It's not, lots of people come and they think it's going to be like Mean Girls, or they think it's going to be like, all colours, all dancing, all happy. It's really not. It's the complete opposite, and it's actually a very gritty story, and the songs are incredible. But yeah, I'd highly, if you haven't seen it and you think it's not for you, I can almost guarantee that it is for you.
Yeah, brilliant. And it comes with a warning. That's what we're talking about here. It's basically saying it's got mature themes in it, like murder and suicide, sexual violence, eating disorders. It sounds pretty heavy duty, but it's got its light moments, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And all those things are in it. But I mean, maybe it's because I've done it for a while now. But you kind of there are a few very graphic scenes, and you think. If you're affected by that kind of thing, then yeah, it is probably hot. Well, of course it's hot for you, but maybe it's because I've been in it now. But I kind of forget because everything's done tongue in cheek. It's not like West Side Story where when things happen to Anita, it's very obvious that it's happening to Anita. It's all done in a more tongue-in-cheek way, which obviously doesn't make it better in real life, but it makes it a bit lighter on the heart for people that may have experienced those things. But there's a lot of stories of people that have suffered with it, that suffered with things that are dealt with in the show, and they come and watch the show, and actually, because of the way it's dealt with in the show and because of the light relief that surrounds it, it actually eases it for them a little bit. I've heard that from a lot of people, and Andy Fickman, our director, has told us many a story of people thinking they weren't going to cope with it well, and actually it's helped them.
But it's running in the West End and simultaneously on tour, which, I mean, that just speaks volumes about its popularity.
Well, exactly. Not many productions can do that. Only the real big shows end up kind of, like Wicked, Les Mis, Phantom. They kind of are in town and also tour. But yeah, Heathers has managed to do that, and I think it is, testament to its absolute cult following. I posted a TikTok the other week that, TikTok's a weird one. You never know what's going to happen, but it got 2.5 million views, and I looked at the analytics, and there's like 70% of the viewers, or 50% of the viewers were from Australia, and that's like 1.2 million people in Australia that like the TikTok, and it's just so universally loved by a particular, not even particular, by a wide range of people. But so I messaged Paul Taylor Mills, the producer, straight away and said, "What about an international tour?" So you might see a third production of it.
Yeah. Well, I think as well. It's one of those that when it's announced that it's coming to town near you, there is a buzz about that about the place, and there's an excitement before it actually gets to the town. Are you aware of that? You must be aware of that.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's because the demographic that Heather speaks to, mostly is potentially a demographic that can't afford to come to London and see the show there. So there's so many people that they say to us, or they say to the other tour that went out a couple of years ago, this is my first time seeing Heathers because I couldn't afford to come to London. It's, especially trains these days are ridiculous. So, the fact that we can go to them means that they might love the show. Some of them come dressed as Heather Chandler, but they've actually never seen the show before. You think, wow.
Yeah.
Like, imagine going to see a show for the first time and but dressing up as it. It just shows how much they've really taken it in before they've even managed to see it, which is so special.
Fantastic. Well, it comes to Theatre Clwyd in North Wales on the 28th of March until the 1st of April. Have you played Theatre Clwyd before?
I haven't. I'm very excited to. I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Well, as I say, it's here at the end of March and literally plays everywhere. It's the biggest tour I've seen.
It really is. It's a long tour, but we're very excited.
Fantastic. Jacob Fowler, it's been a treat to speak to you, my friend. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Not at all. You take care of yourself, and we look forward to welcoming you to Theatre Clwyd at the end of March. Brilliant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers, pal. Heathers the Musical will be bringing the UK tour to Theatre Clwyd in Mold on the 28th of March and will run until the 1st of April before it plays pretty much everywhere around the UK. Box office number for Theatre Clwyd 01352 344 101. 01352 344 101. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Stage and Screen with Andy Snowden. Let us know what you want to hear on WhatsApp with the number 01978 540 410. We love local. Calon FM.